there.
Now we're live.
You ready for us to begin?
It'll be done in like 10 seconds. We are live.
Great. I'd like to call the North Ridgeville Board of Zoning and Building Appeals meeting to order. Will everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty, justice for all. Will the clerk please take roll?
Kane. Thibodeau.
Here.
Smolik.
Present.
Masterson.
Here.
Kimball.
Here. Are there any corrections to the minutes dated Thursday, May 28th or June 11th, 2020? Hearing none, at this time the minutes will stand as stated. Are there any reports to come from the board this evening from Planning Commission?
Mr. Chairman, there is no reports at this time.
Thank you very much. If there's no other correspondence or reports at this time, we will move on to the public hearing. Will the clerk please read the first application?
Deanna Logan, 6545, Majestic Drive, North Ridgeville, Ohio, 44039. Owner, Dan and Leanna Logan, 6545 Majestic Drive, North Ridgeville, Ohio, 44039. Requesting approval for a 5-foot tall fence requiring a, requiring a 1.5-foot height variance to North Ridgeville Codified Ordinance Section 1294.01H1A. Location 6545 Majestic Drive in a planned community development district. Permanent parcel number 07-00-033-105-001. Any comments?
Do we have builder inspector comments?
Yes. Building inspector's comments. 1294.01H1A, fences in residential district shall be 3.5 foot in height from front building line to street. Corner lots have 2 front building lines. Applicant requesting 5-foot high fence requiring 1.5-foot height variance. BZA approval required.
Thank you. Is there a representative here this evening?
Me for the homeowner?
Yes.
That's me. Hi.
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 Thank you for showing up tonight. I know these are unusual circumstances, but we appreciate you working with us.
Oh no, I appreciate it. Especially for you guys getting me into this meeting. We just moved here a week ago.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, welcome. Well, real quick, I need to swear you in for the record. Do you swear or affirm that the statements you're about to make in front of this Board of Zoning and Building Appeals for the City of North Ridgeville are true as you shall answer unto God under the penalties of the law of perjury?
Yes.
Thank you. Could you please tell us a little bit about your request?
Yes. We purchased a home at Meadow Lake, and we are on the corner of Hunter Ridge and Majestic. And we only have one neighbor on one side of us. So when reaching out to fencing companies, they told me I had to get HOA approval. And I didn't realize when we purchased the home that the city requires only 3.5 feet on a corner lot. So my request is to just go to 5 feet off the back of my house to my property line and back up again. Because we have a big deck in our backyard and it doesn't give much room for our dogs.
Okay.
So we have 2 55-pound doodles, which you can probably hear in the background. And so they could easily jump a 3.5-foot fence. Wentz, who we're gonna use, and she was saying that, I can request a variance if it's 50% see-through, and it is. And that we have had some others in the neighborhood. I do know at Sandy Ridge and Tailfeather, there's 2 corner lots with privacy. I respectfully ask for the variance for my puppies, so.
Okay. Well, thank you for giving that presentation. And the whole point of having a corner lot with 2 front yards, concerning the fence portion of it, is a safety factor of visual obstructions for cars going down the road, pedestrian traffic on the sidewalk, such like that. The way you have this designed, it seems to be about as far away from the corner as you possibly could be. And I personally don't see any sort of visual obstruction. You're still going to be 50% open. The
Yes.
additional 1.5 feet, I don't believe is going to cause any sort of safety concerns. So it seems to be a pretty well thought out plan, in my opinion. And I think it would probably blend in just fine with the neighborhood.
Thank you very much.
Are there any questions or comments from any board members?
Yes,
No.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
I guess I have a question for the applicant. It appears that the fence goes almost up to the sidewalk. Am I seeing that sketch correctly?
They're the previous owners.
Could you repeat that, please?
There's currently a fence about property up and around the corner, close to the sidewalk. It's about a foot away from, it's right on the property line.
I guess my concern, Mr. Chairman, is that's a utility easement going through there. Would the applicant have any problem kicking that back to the edge of the utility easement, which I believe is 12.5 feet?
Oh, that would take up a lot of the side yard that we're hoping to utilize. If it does help, it is a no dig fence. I don't know if that makes a difference, but.
Excuse me, Chairman.
Yes.
Okay, I understand where Mr. Smolik is coming from, but as I recall, the fence is already existing. She's just asking for a height difference. And doesn't the city engineering department just require that the person, if it is in an easement, they remove it at their cost?
Yes.
Yes, but it also depends on whose easement it is. If it's a utility easement, it could be for the power company. And what you want to be careful about is that when the fence was installed, they should have oopsed that to make sure they don't hit any of those utilities. They know where they run underground.
Yeah, utility easement's a lot different than an easement in the rear yard. Utility companies are always in and out of those easements all the time, as opposed to a rear yard easement.
So I guess, Mr. Smolik, are you saying that it is a utility easement?
I'm assuming so, based on this plat that I'm seeing.
Because if that's an electric utility easement, then the applicant should really talk to Ohio Edison to make sure they don't have a problem with this.
Or Columbia Gas.
Yes,
Okay.
But didn't the applicant say it's a no dig fence, which
doesn't matter.
that's,
What they're saying is you don't dig a post hole, but you run the post in the ground.
oh, I'm sorry. So a no dig, it still goes in the ground?
Yes.
Okay, so,
So that's what I would suggest is, even if you grant the variance, if the owner would check with those utilities to make sure they don't have a problem, because they may come through there and say, you're not allowed to do that in my easement, and make you move the fence.
Okay. Yeah. Like I said, the current fence there, it's more even and tight. So I don't know if they already checked that, but I would be happy to do that again. I mean, and check with both utility companies to make sure. So I could even put a gate there if we needed to take it out, at any point.
Mr. President, if I could clarify one thing though, she would, I understand that there is the whole fact of having to check with Columbia Gas and the electric company for their easement. In the city, from the city's standpoint, she would be permitted to build this fence if the variance was granted in this utility easement. Would that be correct?
The city engineer would allow that, Usually with a letter, making it their responsibility to remove it and don't put that onus on the city.
Okay,
So that's part of the permitting process.
Right.
And that would have been done on the original fence permit.
If they obtain one, I don't know that they've obtained one.
Okay.
A lot of times residents will put up a fence and they don't come to the city for the permit, and then we're finding these out after the fact. Because with 25 square miles, we just don't have the manpower to police every street to see who's doing what.
I don't see why not.
I'll make a note of that, sir.
Okay,
Well,
thank you.
My
Thank
only comment is they can't get anywhere because all the streets are closed.
you. Okay, are there any other questions or comments from any board members?
I
Is
do
there-
still, Mr. Chairman.
I'm sorry, what was that, Neil?
I was gonna say, I literally drive by the house every day, and being backing up the Meadow Lakes, it's kind of high velocity. It would be safe and practical to put like a better fence up to secure the dogs in, just because of
Okay.
that.
Well, thank you. Are there any other questions or comments from any board members or anyone in attendance? Are there any questions or comments from YouTube Live?
We are currently on about a 15-second delay, but I have no comments as of now.
Okay, well, I'll give it about 15 seconds and then we'll make a motion. If there's no other questions or comments, at this time, the chair will entertain a motion.
I make a motion to accept with the homeowner checking with the utility companies.
Do we have a second?
My second,
Will the clerk please take roll?
Thibodeau,
yes.
Smolik,
No.
Masterson,
Yes.
Kimball.
Yes.
Motion to approve passed by vote of 3 yes, 1 no.
Okay, ma'am, we will send you a signed copy in the mail of your application. And so you should receive that probably early next week. And other than that, you're all set to go. Is there any other bit? I'm sorry, ma'am, what?
I appreciate it.
Thank you for
You're
coming.
welcome.
Tomorrow's
Is
my
there any
birthday.
business to come in front of the board this evening? Hearing none, at this time, the chair makes a motion to adjourn. All those signify by aye.
Aye.
Meeting
Okay.
adjourned.
Be safe, everybody.
Before we all go off, Michelle, can you tell us when we're not on live?
Oh, no.
Michelle?